Hello YouTube family, you're most welcome back to the channel and back to yet another video. Today we're doing something very different. Today I'm going to tell you about my experiences and some of the experiences of my friends traveling through Turkey. If somebody asked you what is the one thing that stands out or what characteristic stands out about Ghanaians, what would you say? Most people would agree that it's our hospitality. Well, it might interest you to know that is quite the same for the Turks. Today I'm telling you two short stories. One is mine and the other is a story of my friend Dr. Ali from Kenya that we had in Turkey that shows the sheer hospitable nature of the Turks. Just two short stories. Stick and stay. Alright, welcome back. So I was going to tell you two short stories that shows the hospitable nature of the Turks and how similar they are to we here in Ghana. I'll tell you first about my own story. In 2019, I was sponsored by the Turkish government, very kind courtesy of the Turkish ambassador to Ghana, Dr. Lure, who put me up for sponsorship by the Turkish government to visit the health thermal event in a specific place in Turkey called the Balıkesir region. The specific place we went to is called Edremit. Now, after the program, we couldn't catch a flight from Edremit to Istanbul, so we had to drive from Edremit to Izmir to catch a flight from Izmir to Istanbul and then back to Accra. Now, the drive was about 6 hours, and so somewhere along the line, the organizer decided, why don't we take a quick stop, get something, get a quick bite, and then we could continue. So we decided to stop in a small village. Somehow, word had gotten to the village that a number of Africans who came for a program in Edremit were driving through their village and heading to Izmir. Would you believe what happened? When we got to that village, now this is a very small village, less than 1,000 people. When we got to the village, every citizen, every resident in that village had come. They had lined the streets of the village. They were willing to welcome us. Now, what's interesting? None of us spent a dime to buy anything in terms of food or anything. They had home cooked meals. Everybody had come out of their houses. They had home cooked meals. They were willing to serve us. In fact, we ate so much, we simply couldn't do anything about it. Now, the situation was so surprising to me because even for Ghana's hospitable nature, this is quite extreme. And so I was so surprised. Everybody on the trip was so surprised. In talking to my friend Dr. Ali, who was also on the trip, he told me another story, which is the second story I'm going to tell you, that mirrors this one. So Dr. Ali's mom had the spinal condition, and so she needed surgery. And if you know Turkey, the medical tourism situation is very big. And so Dr. Ali flew he flew with his mom to a suburb in Istanbul, a small suburb, not too far from Istanbul, which is where the hospital that they were going to have the operation done was. He was a doctor, so he had come to stay with his mom to help her recuperate. Now, he told me the story that while after the surgery, they had to stay for a few more weeks before they flew back to Kenya. And so every morning he would go, his mom really loved those Turkish bread, those Turkish rolls that they make. So every morning he would go to a shop nearby to buy the bread for his mom. And so the people had taken notice of him because every morning he comes to buy. And they couldn't speak a word of English. He could speak, passable Turkish. So one day they found somebody who could speak broken English. And they asked him, why are you in the hospital? Is there a problem? Are you sick? So he also explained to them that it's not actually him, it was his mom who's having a medical condition, and because of that she's come for surgery, so it might take a few weeks to recuperate. Now, he told me what happened the next day moved him to tears. You know what? The next day, everybody in that neighborhood where he buys the bread, he came to the hospital. He was there when he got word that, he has some people waiting for him. When he went, the whole neighborhood where he buys the bread had come to wish his mom well and to pray for her. Now, you know what they had done? They had come with a ton of bread, so they didn't have to come every day buying bread. Now, just imagine that. What is interesting is that when I speak to a lot of people who have traveled across Turkey, I realize that this is not a surprise. It's actually the norm. The hospitable nature of the Turks is actually the norm. And it reminds me so much of Ghana. Perhaps that's why I'm so comfortable when I travel to Turkey, because in many ways we are quite similar people. I watched the program with Richard Quest. He has a program called Quest World of Wonders, now where he visits different parts of the world. Now, if you've watched that program before, every time he finishes a visit to a particular country, he summarizes his visit or the people in one word. When he visited Turkey, after the show, he summarized the spirit of the text in one word: hospitable. And he reinforced all the thoughts that I'd felt every time that I visited Turkey. So, well, that's my story today. Just telling you how similar we as a people are to Turkey and some of my personal experiences. If you've traveled to Turkey before, let me know what were your own experiences. And if you've not traveled to Turkey before, you better take your trip. You should definitely make it a point. Put it on your bucket list, whether it's holiday, education, whatever it is. Turkey is a must-see place. You really have to visit. Tell me about your experiences if you have, so we can keep the communication going. Thank you very much for being here. Stick and stay for more videos.